The NFL regular season is in full swing, and already players and coaches are feeling the heat being put on by the fans. With teams heavily underperforming their preseason expectations, many teams could be close to making a change in leadership. Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Ethan Ellis, and along with Anneke, Wagner, and Hudson, Hvizdak, we'll be breaking down which players and coaches are on the hot seat in the NFL. Anneke, we'll start with you. Which coach is really just not living up to the hype and not performing?
So the head coach I have on the hot seat right now is Robert Saleh. He has a 5-year deal with the as the head coach for the Jets. He was prior to that the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and he strived there. He led the 49ers defensively to a Super Bowl that year with them, and he arguably the best linebacker in the league, and Fred Warner has credited his player development to Robert Saleh. And Saleh has been great developing defensive players like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. However, offensively, that is not the case. He did inherit a struggling Jets team, and he has made improvements. However, the Jets have yet to post a winning season with Saleh at the wheel, at the head. He is 20-36, has a 20-36 record as the Jets head coach. So far, they are 2-3 on the season. They their wins coming in Tennessee and at home against the Patriots, a divisional rival, which is beneficial. However, their most recent loss, they lost to the Vikings in London, and they really looked lifeless, offensively speaking. I mean, overall lifeless in that game. Granted, Aaron Rodgers did get injured earlier on in that game. He was back for the second half. However, he did not look 100% healthy. He was seemingly limping around, but really the offense was struggling still. And when Rodgers signed that 3-year deal with the Jets in 2023, they thought he would be their saving grace. He did go down week 1 last season, and the Jets could not handle that. And that goes back to Saleh's lack of player development. However, the Jets have not indicated any or implied anything that would suggest Saleh's position is in jeopardy. However, if the Jets were projected to be in the playoff mix this season, however, not with how they're playing now. If they continue this way, they will not be anywhere near the playoffs come January or even December. So that may be, it's not out of the picture. But this week is a crucial matchup for Saleh and the Jets. It is Monday Night Football. They're at home, MetLife, against the Buffalo Bills, a divisional opponent. And really, this game is, in my opinion, make or break for Saleh's career. Their performance is make or break for his career as the head coach for the Jets.
So the head coach I am putting in the hot seat this week is Doug Peterson, the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They haven't been so hot as of late. They lost 4 weeks in a row. They've gained their first victory this week against the Indianapolis Colts. And not a so convincing fashion. I mean, Joe Flacco was the backup quarterback this week, and I mean, he's no slouch or anything, but he kind of outran their defense at one point. And at one point, he brought the Philadelphia Eagles to a Super Bowl. What exactly happened? I mean, he's had a consistent 9-8 seasons throughout his time here in Jacksonville, but a mediocre record won't get you championships.
Yeah, and Doug Pearson, I mean, I think the thing that he has going for him right now is that one Super Bowl win. It's kind of hard to get rid of a Super Bowl winning head coach, but it just seems like every year the performance has gone down and down in Jacksonville, and you somewhat start to wonder if it's Trevor Lawrence or what else it is. But I mean, Jacksonville right now, they're arguably the worst team in the league, and for Robert Saleh, I mean, on paper that did look like a good hire. I mean, you think of how good San Francisco's defense has been in the past couple of years, but I mean, their offense has continued to struggle. The Jets' offense has continued to struggle, and while the Jets' defense has been among the top 10-ish in the league, I mean, Aaron Rodgers and that Jets defense, that Jets offense, they're really not doing much. And I think is more than likely time, at least for Robert Saleh to go. I think he's had just about every opportunity they can afford to him. But let's go ahead and look at some players. I mean, sometimes it's not just the head coach that's to blame for something that's going wrong on the team. So let's look at some players. Hudson, what's one player you think is on the hot seat?
I would definitely put Daniel Jones on the hot seat. I mean, the New York Giants, they haven't been doing great this season. And I mean, Daniel Jones, he's been the quarterback since 2019. He was a first-round pick. He was the 6th overall pick. And I mean, he's only had one postseason. He's only had one winning season since he's been there. And I mean, I feel like he's been on the hot seat since even before the season started. He was injured last season, to be fair. Week 5, he had a neck injury. However, you got to think he's probably going to end up getting traded if he doesn't produce another winning season this year.
Yeah, and then the player I believe is feeling a fire underneath them is Deshaun Watson. Watson was drafted 12th overall in 2017 by the Texans and then traded to the Browns. He signed with the Browns after that trade a 5-year deal, $230 million guaranteed, which was record-setting at that time. But he has not done anything since. He really has been on the hot seat since he landed in Cleveland. He only played about a third of the 2022 season, and then he was injured fairly early on in 2023. And in that 2023 season, Joe Flacco got up off his couch, might I add, and he really led that Browns team to the playoffs. He was that reason that the Browns were in that position, really. I mean, their defense is also fantastic, but really Joe Flacco led them there. And Watson has just not been that guy. So far, the Browns are 1-4. Their only win against Jacksonville, they won 18-13. And most recently, they lost to the Commanders in Washington in amazing fashion. Their offense has been struggling, has had a very bad struggle. The most points they've put up in a game so far is 18 points, which is not what you want. Their defense has kept them afloat. So far this season, Watson has thrown for 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, which is not a great ratio. He ranks 32nd in quarterback rating with a 21 QBR. 32nd out of 32 eligible quarterbacks, which is not what you want in the quarterback you thought would be your franchise player. They really need to figure something out. And Kevin Stefanski has stated that he would not be benching Watson and putting in Jameis Winston. However, if Watson continues to play like he has, they're really going to need to rethink that decision, or it might be Stefanski who is paying the price, because to reference a classic rom-com, something's got to give.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Deshaun Watson is the confidence in him from not only the fans but his teammates is appalling. And I think at this point there's just no more belief in him. And if your teammates don't believe in you, then you're not going to be able to produce results. There's not going to be any chemistry on the field. And that's very, very evident when it comes to Sunday. So I think Deshaun Watson, along with all this other stuff he's had off the field, I think that his performance is just not where it needs to be. And this is more than likely going to go down as one of the worst investments in NFL history. He's just not the answer in Cleveland. I would like to see them start Jameis Winston. And Daniel Jones, I mean, that Giants team has a lot of issues, but I think Daniel Jones is one of the keystones to the issue. I mean, his accuracy has been off, and he's really struggled to come back from those injuries from last year. So I think that the Giants, especially now with that talented wide receiver they have in Malik Neighbors, I think that offense has a shot if they can just get in a half-decent quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see what both of these teams really do in the offseason. With it already being Week 5, there's not much more time for them to turn around their respective seasons and save their jobs. But who else do you think is on the hot seat? Let us know in the comments who you think we missed, or make a case for one of these guys to keep their jobs. For Anneke, Wagner, and Hudson Hvizdak, I'm Ethan Ellis, and we'll see you next time.
Hey everybody! Thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.